Are you tired of your laptop looking like a chaotic mess of cables? Or worse, running out of ports right when you need to connect an extra monitor or hard drive? You are not alone. In 2026, finding the best USB-C hub for your desktop or laptop feels like navigating a minefield of cheap plastic and fake specs. I am the Tech Evaluator, and today I am breaking down the absolute best USB hubs on the market right now. Whether you need a simple USB hub for a laptop or a heavy-duty desktop hub, I have got you covered. Number 1 offers insane value and will completely transform your setup. But before we get to the ranking, here are 3 traps that will waste your money and fry your tech. Let's get into it.
Let's talk about the traps to avoid before you spend a single dime. Trap number 1 is the spec sheet line. A lot of brands will advertise a desktop monitor hub 4K, but if you read the fine print, it only pushes 4K at 30 Hz. If you are gaming or editing video, you need 60 Hz, though 30 Hz is an acceptable trade-off for a cheap travel dongle. Trap number 2 is the power pass-through illusion. Just because a dock versus hub debate ends with you buying a USB-C hub for a MacBook does not mean it can charge it properly. Many cheap hubs reserve up to 15 watts for themselves, so if you plug in a 65-watt charger, your laptop might only get 50 watts, causing slow charging or battery drain under load. Trap number 3 is the heat throttle. Cheap hubs overheat fast, which drops your Ethernet speed and disconnects your hard drives randomly.
Thermal stability is crucial. I've stress tested my top 5 to ensure they won't fry your tech. And I'll tell you exactly how to manage thermals and power on the budget options. All right, enough talking. Let's kick things off with
Kicking things off at number 5, the BENFEI 7-in-1 is the absolute best choice if you are on a super tight budget but still need reliable connectivity. For just $13, this is practically a steal. You get a 4K HDMI port, 3 USB 3.0 ports, SD card readers, and a 100-watt power delivery port, all wrapped up in a sleek aluminum alloy shell. Real talk, the spec-to-price ratio here is crazy. I know a guy who bought this as a cheap USB-C hub for his iPad just to watch movies on a hotel TV, and it ended up replacing his daily work dongle because the data transfer speeds hit a solid 5 gigabits per second. It is lightweight, compact, and honestly, it looks super clean on any desk. Now, there is a minor catch. Because this hub packs so much into a tiny frame, it can get noticeably warm under maximum load.
Also, if you try to max out all the data ports while pushing 4K video without the power delivery plugged in, the video connection might flicker because it is starved for power. The solution? Always plug your wall charger directly into the hub's power port when you are outputting video to a monitor. This ensures it gets enough juice to run stable. It is not a heavy-duty docking station, but for basic office work and travel, it gets the job done without breaking the bank.
Moving on to number 4, the Anker 6-in-1 multi-port adapter is the absolute best choice if you need rock-solid internet reliability on the go. If you are setting up a home office and need a dependable USB hub for a desktop PC or a laptop, Anker is a name you can trust. This little guy costs around $29 and packs a gigabit Ethernet port, 4K HDMI, and 65-watt power delivery pass-through. The build quality is fantastic. It is literally the size of a dry erase marker, making it insanely portable. One user actually bought this specifically for their Steam Deck to play wired multiplayer teams without lag, and they said it was an absolute game changer, literally. The solid construction feels premium in the hand, totally avoiding that cheap hollow plastic feel. However, I have to point out a slight limitation. As I mentioned in the buying guide, this hub only supports 4K at 30 Hz. Because this is built for ultimate portability and basic office use rather than high-end gaming, it's an acceptable trade-off. Additionally, some folks reported that the Ethernet can occasionally drop if the hub gets bumped around too much on a messy desk. The fix here is simple. Keep it stationary on your desk using a small piece of mounting tape, and if you are using a high refresh rate monitor for competitive gaming, you might want to step up to a higher-end model. But for general media consumption, browsing, and rock-solid wired internet, this is incredibly reliable.
Coming in at number 3, the UGREEN Revodok 6-in-1 is the absolute best choice if you want maximum durability and fast data speeds for under $20. At just $18, this is the best bang for your buck, hands down. It features a gigabit Ethernet port, 4K HDMI, 3 USB-A data ports, and an impressive 100-watt power delivery system. What really sets this apart is the build quality. UGREEN actually reinforces the ends of the cables, which is huge because we all know that is exactly where most hubs eventually snap and die. One videographer mentioned using this daily to transfer massive 4K video files from external hard drives while keeping their laptop fully charged, and it handled the 5 gigabits per second transfer speeds flawlessly. It is truly plug and play. Now, here is something crucial to keep in mind. While this supports 100 watts of power input, like all quality hubs, it reserves 15 watts for its own operation to keep those fast data speeds stable. This means your laptop only gets 85 watts. Also, a few users had trouble connecting it to older smart TVs. The easy workaround is to simply check your laptop's minimum power requirement. If it needs a full 100 watts to charge under heavy load, just use your laptop's dedicated charging port for power and use this up strictly for data and displays.
Taking the runner-up spot at number 2, the Lenovo ThinkPad Gen 2 docking station is the absolute best choice if you are running a multi-monitor, corporate, or heavy productivity setup. We are stepping out of the budget zone now. This beast costs about $237, and yes, it costs a pretty penny, but it is an investment. It is not just a hub, it is a full-blown desktop command center. You get multiple high-speed USB ports, 2 display ports, an HDMI port, and it supports up to 3 external displays. I read a review from an accountant who was drowning in spreadsheets on a single screen. They hooked this up to 3 monitors and said their workflow doubled overnight. The performance is incredibly stable, and it comes with a massive 90-watt power adapter included in the box. But let's talk about the setup requirements. Despite supporting 3 monitors, this dock prioritizes DisplayPort, featuring 2 display ports and only 1 HDMI output. Some users found the setup instructions a bit confusing if they only owned HDMI monitors. The workaround? Pick up a couple of high-quality DisplayPort to HDMI cables if your monitors do not have DisplayPort inputs. It takes a few extra minutes to configure your display settings in Windows, but once it is locked in, you will never have to unplug a messy web of cables again. Finally, taking the crown at number 1, the Anker Prime 14-in-1 docking station is the absolute best choice for power users who want zero compromises in 2026. Priced around $227, this thing is a technological masterpiece. It features an insane 140-watt upstream port to fast charge your main laptop, dual 100-watt front USB-C ports, and it supports triple 4K displays at a buttery smooth 60 Hz. The standout feature is the smart display screen on the front that gives you real-time readouts of your charging speeds and thermals. One user said it felt like having a spaceship dashboard on their desk. The active cooling fan keeps it icy cold even when you are pushing massive data transfers and running 3 monitors at once. It is the ultimate best USB hub for a desktop setup.
However, the catch is that it requires DisplayLink software to run multiple monitors on certain laptops. And some users noted that DRM-protected sites like Netflix give a black screen. The fix is super easy though. Just go into your web browser settings and disable hardware acceleration, and your movies will play perfectly. For the absolute pinnacle of connectivity, power, and design, this Anker Prime dock is completely unrivaled.
And there you have it, the top 5 USB-C hubs and docking stations for 2026. Whether you need a cheap travel dongle or a massive multi-screen command center, there is an option here for you. I have dropped all the links in the description below so you can check the latest prices. If this video helped you avoid a bad purchase, do me a huge favor and hit that like button, and subscribe to Tech Evaluator for more honest tech reviews. I will see you in the next one.